What would happen if the ocean suddenly turned into fresh water? But wait, the ocean has to be salty, right? If not, I'll be stuck swimming next to baby shark ha-hoo-hoo and family shark ho-hoo-hoo. But if this really did happen, what would go down? Let's watch this video together with Kucdy to find out. Even a duck knows that the ocean is salty because it's full of salt. But not everyone knows that the saltiness of the sea mostly comes from the land. Though, I still have my suspicions that aliens might be dumping salt into the ocean to feed the fish.
Huh?
Just kidding. The truth is, when it rains, both you and ducks can drink rainwater with no problem. However, rainwater is actually a mild acid. As raindrops fall, they dissolve a small amount of CO2 from the air, forming carbonic acid H2O3. This acid won't harm ducks, and it won't harm you either. But it does erode rocks, releasing ions, mainly sodium and chloride, which are carried by rivers and streams all the way to the ocean. There, they combine to form NaCl, better known as table salt, the same stuff sitting in your kitchen. The important thing is that water can evaporate from the ocean and turn into clouds. But salt can't. It gets left behind, gradually accumulating over billions of years. This means that when new oceans were formed, they were full of fresh water. Do you know how much salt is in the sea? No? Well, let this adorable little duck tell you. Today, dissolved salts make up about 3.5% of seawater's weight, with 90% of that being regular table salt, NaCl. The total amount of salt in Earth's oceans is estimated to be around 38.5 quadrillion tons. That's roughly the same as 6.4 billion Great Pyramids of Giza, or 220,000 Mount Everests. So back to the original question, what if seawater becomes fresh water? But how could we even turn seawater into fresh water? With that much water, there's no way humans can remove all the salt from the sea. I know who can. Magic and Duck. That said, today the world filters about 540 billion liters of seawater daily, providing drinking water for 200 million people. If we keep up that pace, it'll only take us, about 6.7 million years to finish the job. Turning seawater into fresh water seems like an impossible task. Basically, mission impossible. So, we've just had an absolutely riveting discussion with Kucdy about why is seawater so darn salty, and how in the world can we turn seawater becomes freshwater. And now, get ready for the next thrilling topic. What if seawater suddenly became fresh? What kind of chaos would ensue? If seawater magically turned fresh, the global freshwater shortage would be a thing of the past. Desalination companies would either go bankrupt or rebrand as giant water pump stations. But this would spell disaster for marine life. Saltwater fish wouldn't survive because their bodies are adapted to the salty environment. A marine fish's body is usually less salty than its surroundings, so, by the laws of osmosis, water escapes through its skin and gills. To keep things balanced, they have to chug seawater like it's their daily routine. But if the seawater turned fresh, this whole process would flip, and fresh water would flood into their bodies, causing their cells to swell up and, well, pop like tiny balloons. It's not just the fish that would be in trouble. The whole marine ecosystem would be hit hard. Phytoplankton, which supply a huge chunk of Earth's oxygen, wouldn't survive. Phytoplankton are like the ocean's tiny, floating solar panels. These little guys make up 50% of the world's photosynthetic power and crank out 70% of the oxygen we're breathing right now. This would lower the amount of oxygen in the air and increase CO2 levels, making the greenhouse effect even worse. Ocean currents, which help regulate the planet's climate, would either be disrupted or completely collapse. If seawater lost its saltiness, this could make global weather even more extreme, with more intense storms and wild temperature swings. Mother Nature might be throwing some serious tantrums. I'm not a fan of storms and tsunamis either. Definitely not my idea of fun. And if sea creatures could drink fresh water, surviving at sea becomes a fishing vacation. On the flip side, salt prices would skyrocket. Do you know the Dead Sea, where you can float without even trying? The saltier the water, the easier it is to float. But now, without salty seas, ships would struggle to stay afloat, carry fewer goods, and shipping costs would soar. In short, if seawater becomes freshwater, humanity might not go extinct, but the marine ecosystem would face destruction, which would have serious consequences for the entire planet. Thanks for sticking around until the end, my friend. There might still be a few mistakes or some info that's not entirely spot on, so please bear with me and feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments. This is also the very first video from this little duck here. I'll mostly be sharing knowledge, talking about self-development, and explaining all kinds of curious questions. So I really hope for your support. Once again, big thank you. You quack me up! See you in the next video.